Yeah.
Yep. What's next?
A quick hitter.
Ooh,
Indiana IU NIL Club is now live. I believe it was Jalen Hollywood Bell who tweeted out a link for that. It's funny enough, the NIL Club, like the system or platform they're on, is created, I believe, by this company called Yoke. And the Yoke guys I actually met at the Jalen Suggs half court shot Final Four game. So wild connection there. But that's another place we can go on, support Indiana football, the players themselves, and it goes directly to NIL. So check that out. Go check out that link. Help out the boys.
Yeah, always support. You know, if we want to keep paying Derek Owings and we want to get Fernando Mendoza, pull him away from Georgia, if we want to retain Surratt and Cooper and Carter Smith and 3 All-Americans on defense without even breaking a sweat, not even hearing rumors of them hitting the portal, please donate to the NIL club. Thank you.
Well, Hoosiers Connect would be the main
Hoosiers
thing.
Connect, or,
Definitely
yeah,
Hoosiers Connect would be the main thing. But if
I'm
you're looking for
I'm
more,
just trying to plug, all right? Like,
I'm
so
just,
what? I'm bad at it, you know? So what? So what? You don't
Indiana,
know what to do, DM me or Alec Keiser. You have our Twitters right here. We'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, we'll help you figure it out. The Indiana football account released a mic'd up from Rod Ojong from the spring game. I'm a huge fan of Coach O. If you've heard any of our podcasts or live shows or read anything I've written, so super entertaining. Obviously, check out those videos. Did you get a chance to watch the video, Brad?
Of the Coach O?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's good. You can definitely check that
out. Maybe I did. I don't
know. Indiana addressed a major need in the transfer portal. We talked about, or Sig talked about, basically that coming out of spring, they only had about 5 healthy wide receivers. ACL injury to Tyler Morris. You have a hamstring injury to Mekhi Jackson. Davion Chandler not being on campus yet. Literally just left Surratt, Cooper, Williams,
Bond, Kendrick,
and Becker. I was spacing out. Becker slipped my mind for whatever reason. Yeah. So they went and addressed a need in the slot. They got Jonathan Brady, a transfer from Cal, has experience with Fernando Mendoza. Specifically, he caught the touchdown to cap the 98 yards with my boys drive. If you don't know what that is, go check that out too.
Interesting.
Elite. Yeah. Funny enough how you can figure out the connections there. But
it always comes full circle. So we got both those guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Unreal.
When I wrote about, the other thing I wrote about this week for voiceofcollegefootball.com, vocfb.com, was that Fernando Mendoza is getting draft buzz, and that if you were, again, been paying attention to anything we've been saying, that's not surprising.
We're not going to talk about Jonathan Brady more?
No, we are. But in that article, I have that drive and the subsequent interview linked. So if you are looking for a place to find it, you can find both those there. But no, let's talk Brady. You're the receiver guy. You're the master of the eye test. What do you see?
I see a decent receiver. I mean, if you're expecting Keyshawn and Miles Price, I don't think you're on the ball here. I think this is a more strength guy, possession type slot, can definitely run all those slot routes, but more of the less speed, more possession, stronger guy. I'm not saying he's slow by any means, but he's super strong. Is probably the biggest thing that pops up for him as a slot receiver. Very nice having him and Davion Chandler as potential slot options to go along with Kendrick and Bond, who are already on campus. Slot has been addressed with the loss of Tyler Morris, I believe, with this acquisition. I do think it would have been really nice to obviously have Tyler Morris, but, the situation is the situation. Tyler Morris is going to have to redshirt, and he's going to be back next year. So we kind of got to make do. Obviously, we have this idea of the 3-headed monster with Cooper, EJ Williams, and Elijah Surratt. But with that, and then obviously Mekhi Jackson is a gadget guy, and all of a sudden, I just listed 4 outside guys. We have 4 inside guys that are coming on campus, and then there's Charlie Becker. That all of a sudden we have 9 receivers again, and it's a good sign. I mean, they like to play a lot of them. It'll be curious to see if they do the 3-headed monster thing, or if Brady or Davion Chandler are able to compete to a level, or I'm not gonna discount Kendrick or Bond either. Compete to the level where they can get the main slot reps, game in and game out. We'll see. They like playing Key and Miles Price a lot, both of them last year. So clearly, there's a lot of snaps to go around. Those guys get a lot of action. So we'll see what they do.
No, 100%. They go deep into that receiver room, but like we just said, and Sig, when I was going to mention, there was a lack of depth in the room. So to go get an experienced guy who literally already has chemistry with Mendoza, like
That's something I
it's
definitely
not
missed.
always the
That's huge.
It's not always the flashiest ads. It's not always the 5-star or the number one ranked portal guy that you need to be an effective piece in the football team. Like the number one receiving option, number two receiving option, and likely number three receiving option are already on the football team, probably even 4 and 5. So you're looking for somebody who's able to rotate in, play effective snaps, know, like understand the scheme and what the quarterback wants. And like that's the perfect execution of going, identifying a need and getting a guy to fill it. And if he ends up being the starting slot, I think that's a massive win. And if he ends up being a rotation piece, I think that's exactly what you want him to be.
Yeah. I do like that he's from LA. I do like that. Yeah,
it is it's a homer thing for you. But that wasn't the only.
He played high school. I'm trying to look up
I
where
like
he
to
played
do
high
this.
school. Oh, he played at Bishop Gorman.
What,
Oh, we got a Bishop Gorman guy.
No, Abel. We love Becker. Of course, we love Becker.
What do you? I didn't say anything. No love for Becker. Yeah, Becker, redshirt freshman. I mean, he's definitely going to be the starting gunner this year. So he's definitely has a role on this team. Super important. Receiver wise, it's a crowded room. We'll see what happens.
I will say though, you can't discount the fact that he was.
He's really good.
Well, you also can't discount the fact that for the majority of the spring, like Mekhi Jackson hurt his hamstring in practice 4. So for the majority of the spring, Charlie Becker was the literally first guy in the second unit. Huh. So like I'm with you. I think he's a dog as well. We're big fans.
Yeah, Abel, it's hard to play 9 dogs at a time. There's only we go 11. We go 11 most of the time. We can only play 3 receivers at a time. We got 9 dogs. It's hard. It's just difficult. We have Surratt and Cooper coming back. Those are all conference guys. They're going to take up a majority of those snaps. It's just going to be hard to work in there. And Becker has a role. He's very important. The gunner position is that is the most important position in special teams. The gunner on punt. That is the most coveted. I don't know. And he's probably going to be a gunner on a kickoff too. He's going to be an important piece. Excited for his development, and a lot of those special teamers turn out to be really good players because they get so much game action.
How many times did we see Indiana legitimately go 8 deep in the receiver room, or where like 6 guys had multiple catches in a game? Like this is an offense that predicates itself on rotating receivers and keeping guys fresh and like prioritizing matchups. And there are things that Becker will do well that the other guys don't do as well that they'll highlight. So I don't think this is a situation where like 1 or 2 of these guys ends up getting buried. I think it's obviously you have your featured guys, and then whoever's playing really well in practice or stringing a couple of good games together is going to, work their way in. But like we saw it last year and we saw it at JMU. If you go back and you watch any of those games, like there were points during the JMU game where you're like, wait, who's on the field? Like where Surratt's not even on the field. And you're just like, what? Like, I don't even understand what's going on here. So it's all those guys will play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say, like, I think next year is going to be Becker's year. I think EJ's gone next year. Mekhi Jackson's gone. Cooper could be gone. Surratt's for sure gone. So lots of potential. The slot looks really shored up with Morris, Davion Chandler, Bond, and Kendrick all of a sudden next year. And then Becker seems like the only outside guy who's coming back. So he's going to have a lot of opportunity down the line. Yeah. We're high on Becker. He had an Ole Miss offer. Lane Kiffin knows his receivers. He's a good evaluator at that position. So him having that Ole Miss offer coming in on campus, that's huge. Huge for us.
No block, no rock.
100%.
I like to do this like current person entering the team, future person coming into the team, transition from like transfer to class of 2026 guy. The class of 2026 continues to grow. Blake Smythe, defensive lineman from Franklin Community in Indiana. I believe the number 9 is he the number 9 player in Indiana? I'll have to double check this. I'm looking at Hoosier Recruiting on Instagram because Hoosier Recruiting has all the official visits that came in as well over the weekend. And there was a very special unofficial visit as well, Brad. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh,
But
I heard. I heard about it.
but Blake
Ooh,
Blake
did I
Smythe,
hear about it?
Franklin Community. Apparently, the number 9 rated player in Indiana is awesome. The way this staff is recruiting the state of Indiana is really impressive. Sig talked about that recruiting your state, and then in that 4-hour radius, they recruit really well in Ohio. They recruit really well in Kentucky. Obviously, they recruit really well in Illinois as well. Got to dominate your state, and doing things like this is exactly how you do it. He's the number 90th rated defensive lineman overall. But I don't want to step on the point you were making, but you were saying like any early April Signet or early May Signetti guy.
Yeah, I haven't watched his tape, but I think he's already listed at 275 as an incoming senior in high school. It's pretty big. That's a big guy, big fella. Probably gonna get bigger. Clearly they see bone structure at his age. He's gonna be ready to play at the Big Ten level. I just trust his value. I just trust Sig to the point where if he's taking a guy in April, May, if he's taking a guy anytime, I'm just trusting him. I mean, this is the
Yeah,
guy.
you know what I'm saying. And this is
the recruit. How many times did I
ahead.
say this? Recruiting coordinator, year 1, 2, 3, Nick Saban, Bama. Like, you saw what happened. He built the foundation of what was the Bama dynasty. Obviously, obviously the whole staff's a big part of that, but he was the driver of that, being the recruiting coordinator. And I think that needs to go set. That needs to be said over and over and over again. Whenever we bring a guy in, we're just trusting the evaluation. At a micro level, the stars don't matter. So it's really up to him, when he gets on campus, he's going to buy into the program, Clearly they like him. What's he going to do? It's up to him now. It's like the draft,
Absolutely.
Oh, you're on the NFL team. Now make a roster.
When you say defensive line, obviously you listed him at 275. That's kind of right around where Landino is right now. Landino was playing interior.
I haven't watched.
Landino was. I'm not comparing him to Landino. I'm just saying like size wise. But again, like that's Buda Williams' room or that's Pat Kuhn's room, and the way those two guys recruit. And so, like again, you're trusting the evaluation process here. Obviously, you want to recruit the state of Indiana really well because that's where the school is. But yeah, it's the momentum they're building in 2026 is impressive. And then, like you said, you've been saying for weeks, the offensive talent and the offensive side of the ball largely gets decided when the quarterback commits. Brody McWhorter committed to Mississippi State last week. That was kind of the guy Indiana was going after in the class. They've rapidly shifted focus. They're now like blinders on for Luke Fahey. So we'll see what happens there. Mission Viejo kid.
Viejo. They don't mess around. Guess which Jets quarterback played at Mission Viejo? Go. I'm gonna verify.
I should know this, but I was like, wait a second, Mission Viejo.
Mission Viejo, Jets quarterback.
Darnold?
No, that's San Clemente High. Come on. I hope I'm right here because this would be embarrassing. Oh, I nailed it. Nailed it off the dome. Come on, Keyser.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, baby. Sanchez.
Oh, my God.
He's by far the best quarterback to come out of there. I mean, I'm telling you, Keyser. Mission Viejo doesn't
fuck around.
Chris Olave went there.
I will tell you about
the program.
About the Sanchez. The Sanchez is the reason. The Sanchez is the reason I became a Jets fan. Think about this: fifth grade Alec, much more of a fantasy football fan than a football fan. You can't really see anything about it right now, but every excuse to be a Pats fan because I'm a diehard Red Sox fan growing up in New Jersey, so I'm in enemy territory already. But I was just like tired of being the enemy. I was like, let me be a Jets fan. Had a Mark Sanchez jersey. Like life was good for 2 years. I didn't realize what I was signing up for.
Jay Wizzleton got me. Mission Hills kid, not a Viejo guy. That's the same area, right? Like that they're close. My bad. I missed. I can't hit them all. I can't bet 1,000. It wouldn't be fun that way.
But there were
Weird.
a lot of very interesting pieces in the class of 2026 that took official visits this weekend. Nick Reddish being one of them. He's a defensive back that they've been very high on for a long time. Uh, the goal is not to butcher these. Jerquaden Guilford was on campus. He's a highly touted receiver in the class of 2026.
Say that again. Sorry, I was reading a text. My bad. Say that again.
I believe his name is Jerquaden Guilford. He was on campus, high impact receiver in the class of 26. They had Cameron Miller on campus. He, I believe, is from Hammond out in the region. Offensive lineman.
Nice.
They also had Logan Nagel on campus. I believe he plays on the defensive line.
This is May 2nd, right? Yeah. Goulford. Nick Reddish seems like he's likely. They've been on him for a while. I feel like he's a fan of the pod. I feel like he follows me low key. But 4-star Travis Johnson, wide receiver out of Virginia. That's the guy that stands out. Like, we talk about the macro economics of recruiting and how you want to bring as many 4 and 5 stars. Obviously, at a micro level, individually, like Blake Smythe, for example, it's really up to him at this point. Is he going to put in the work? Hard to evaluate between the years. In a micro sense, stars don't matter in that sense. But when you're building a class, you want to bring as many 4 or 5-star kids that pass the Signetti evaluation as you can. And, bringing guys like that on campus. Didn't they bring in a 5-star from Lawrence North unofficially pretty recently?
I'm getting to that. Officially, though, no, we can talk about it. Officially, Corey Amitri. No. Corey Amitri, 4-star running back, number 1 running back in Michigan. He was also on campus. So the staff is recruiting the offensive side of the ball. Like, I definitely wouldn't be worried about that. But no, this is building to
very
this
heavy defense right now. But I'm not worried about this offense by any means, unless Tino was just that good of a recruiter. Who knows?
No. Building to the fact that unofficially on campus over the weekend was a 2027 5-star from the class, from that class, from Lawrence North. Showtime sales.
I mean, the pipeline from Lawrence North to Indiana just needs to continue. It's been building. Omar Cooper,
it's
receiver,
elite, dude.
Davion Chandler's coming in this fall. Two summers from now, 2 springs. It's going to be Showtime sales, baby. He's coming in. He's on that track team that set the state record and the 4x1 with him and Davion Chandler both being on it. So obviously, he's really tight with the kid. He mentioned after Casimir Hicks committed to Indiana, he said the best in Indiana play at Indiana. And I mean, if that's his mindset, I mean, it feels like I'm feeling good about it. I'm just feeling good about it. I mean, it'd be a huge win. Obviously, Ohio State's going to come knocking on the door, and we're going to have to go toe-to-toe with Brian Hartline for this kid at the end of the day. I like where we're at right now. I like where we're at right now, is what I'll say.
The fact that – so here's the thing, is like when the real turning point or for how much noise and how different Indiana was on the recruiting trail was the fact that somebody like Julian Lewis decided to take a visit last February. That was somebody who was already committed in the class coming up. Like it's a little bit different to have somebody who's so far projected out. Like the 27s and 28s are being offered right now, but nobody's really committing in those classes yet. So to have these unofficial visits at this time in the recruiting process is these are big. Like, again, I'll echo your sentiment. First 3 years of Saban's Alabama, the recruiting coordinator was Curt Signetti. That's not an accident. It's not an accident that the second the guy stepped in the door, the social media switched, like the way they sell the program and the jersey and everything about the Indiana program completely changed the second Signetti walked in the door. And like these, you talk about, again, the green flags you see from the program as time goes on. It's like, yeah, having Showtime sales unofficially on campus, posting pictures of Davion Chandler's locker, like this could be me one day, is fucking exciting. I mean, very exciting.
Showtime sales coming to Indiana would be the biggest commitment since Romeo. Probably even bigger than that.
It would be way bigger. Listen, we don't have to talk.
We're not talking about
It's
Romeo Langford.
well, I was gonna say it's under my
Please.
like if Patino doesn't get like if the whole Louisville saga thing doesn't happen and he's the coach of Louisville for that year and not suspended and ends up in Greece, then Romeo probably is just not probably he goes to Louisville. Like he was committed to Patino. Like he wasn't he just kind of ended up coming to Indiana because like, oh shit, I guess I'll come home. This would be Indiana basketball fans can come after me. Showtime sales would be by far the biggest commitment in school
Getting
history.
him over Ohio State would be the biggest.
It would be the biggest commitment in school history in any sport by far.
Yeah. Can't think. There's probably a big soccer.
So I'm not saying we're not anywhere like he's there's no like he's not heating up to make his decision or like he's not cutting down his list of schools anytime soon.
Him just hanging out, paying out of pocket. Yeah. That's what unofficial is. Like he's paying out of pocket to go hang around the program. And
well, I mean, Lawrence North isn't very far from
True, but you still got to pay for a hotel.
Still got to get there.
Yeah, still got to get there. And I don't know if he stayed the night or anything, but yeah, I mean that's only a good sign.
It's a good sign.
So we'll keep tabs on it. I mean, we started this as a Julian Lewis podcast. Should we become a Showtime Sales podcast? Is what I'm pitching.
We are a Showtime Sales podcast. We're a Lawrence North podcast, I would say.
Oh yeah, I've been a lifelong Lawrence North high school fan. Lifelong. Always have been, always will. The green and orange, I bleed it. You know, we're gonna you know, the best in Indiana play in Indiana. And if Showtime, if you want to talk the talk, let's walk the walk. You know, let's play. Let's go play. You've seen the offense. You've seen it. You're gonna get looks. I'll tell you that. You're gonna get the ball. That's for sure. So, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Love it. The last thing I have for the smoke.
Oh my God, Jay Wizzle. Go Wildcats, Jay Wizzle. Go Wildcats. Monrovia High. You know, Ellis McCarthy. There's a name for you.
The last thing I have written down for the smoke, Brad, and this will lead us kind of into where I wanted to go with football this week. 2026 mock draft season has started for the sickos. I wrote about it, like I said, this week for Fernando Mendoza. Field Yates tweeted about Mendoza. Nate Tice put him as the number one quarterback in the class. He's been appearing on draft boards. There was, like I said, D'Angelo Pons, preseason PFF All-American in that flex spot. He's appearing in the first round of certain mock drafts. Surratt is appearing as a wide receiver named to know for the NFL draft. This is going to start happening with the Indiana football players. And it just affirms everything we've been saying about the Hoosiers. Real quick, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question specifically on Mendoza and our conversations about him, but
yeah,
thoughts on seeing Hoosiers pop up in draft boards like this?
Not surprised. I mean, I anticipate seeing Pons and Mendoza pretty high up. Seeing any of the receivers getting the type of buzz, like any first round buzz, is pretty honestly eye-raising for me. That's a good sign. It's really hard to be a day 2 or 1 or 2 receiver.
I will say for the Surratt graphic, it was like names to know for the draft. It didn't exactly say like which rounds people were being picked in. So
it's not surprising. I mean, if we're anticipating what this, like I have it at another 11-1 year to win in Eugene. And I think they can win a playoff game, maybe 2. If they do that, there's going to be plenty of these guys getting drafted, and that's going to be where things get tricky. Of course, with roster construction, we're going to have less continuity. I think we're benefiting from a lot of our best players coming back this year. So losing NFL talent is something that this program has never seen before in terms of being able to replace it at the level that we're kind of starting to see, where there might be 5 to 7 draft picks come April next year coming out of Indiana University. So it's exciting to see, obviously. And do you want me to transition to Fernando? By the way, Jay Wizzleton calling Kamara the GOAT is a good sign. He's a talent evaluator himself.
Wizzleton himself is
he does Jay Wizzleton himself, talent evaluator. He likes Kamara. I mean, the dude led the country in pressures last year. I mean, he's coming back. I mentioned the Greg Middleton school record for single season sacks at 16. See if Kamara can do it. He's could be playing in 16 games, so he might, he's gonna have plenty of opportunity to get there.
Do you want to tackle the chat question right now or tackle it in a second? Because
yeah, let's do chat question and then we'll go Mendoza.
then we'll talk Mendoza because that's going to lead us into the
Mendoza. 2 questions. How do recent visits align with Indiana's broader recruiting goals for 25 and 26? Well, 25 is on campus, and then 26. I mean, it just shows that I think coming in, there's a lot more visits that are happening this time than there was probably last year. It just means they're finally at the level to where they're not like playing catch up anymore. Recruiting wise, they're in a point where they're kind of in cruise control. Like, this is the process. This is how we do things. These are the guys we're bringing in. And, certain guys will get full offers. Some guys will get soft offers, and we'll just keep evaluating after we keep talking to these kids and understand where their mindset is. Like I said, super hard to evaluate up here. So I think it's important to just bring as many kids on campus as possible and try to really learn about them and how they think, and just make sure you're bringing in the right people to keep the culture going is probably the biggest thing. More so, obviously, with wins, the stars will come, but as long as they're guys that won't mess up the culture and will continue the level, the expectations, the fast, physical, relentless, fast, physical, poised, whatever it is. Like,
poised.
I was so close.
Every play is a life.
That's
6
the most
seconds of play.
important
Every
thing
play is
when it comes to evaluating for these guys. Like, obviously they have great measurables. They got to make sure that their bodies are built to play at the Big Ten level. And that's important. But
which
they
is why
believe in their
retaining
coaching
Derek
philosophy,
Owings is a
and they
massive
believe
deal.
that they can evaluate up here better than the most. And that's how I think it really is an edge at the college level, because you see it time and time again. Teams just chase stars to make the boosters happy, and that's not always the best way to go about it. So they're sticking to their system, and they're sticking to it. And with Indiana boosters not knowing a lick about what a successful football program looks like, they're just like, yep, whatever you say goes, Sig. you want this 0-star from the Naval Prep Academy, Elijah Hardy? Sure, go for him. And yeah, he brought him in, and he was the best true freshman in that class. So go figure. So it really doesn't, I'd say it's more up here, less so the stars. And also, what feedback have recent visitors provided about their experiences and how might this influence their recruiting efforts? It's all been positive. Right? What have you heard, Keezer?
It's all been, the thing is, it's been extremely positive. It's all been like detail oriented. Like, here's how like great the program is. I trust the vision. I love what they're building here. Like, there was not, this isn't a recruit, but one of the lead recruiting guys for On3, Steve Wiltfong, tweeted like Indiana is like trending for like top recruits and building momentum off like a great recruiting weekend. But it's just like, everybody who interacts with this Indiana coach, like I tweeted this, like everyone who interacts with this staff on any level comes out saying the same thing. Like, it's really impressive the work they're doing here. And it's like, it's a legitimate program. This is like, they're doing things the right way. And like Brad and I keep saying, like, those green flags of the program that just keep popping up. It's like, yeah, everything that recruits are saying when they leave these visits, it's all like, it's not like, oh yeah, like, it's not like, oh my God, NIL is great and I'm going to get paid a lot. It's like, I really enjoy what they're building here, and I believe in the staff. And evident by the fact that like there's a graphic that came out today where I think Indiana has the 3rd lowest average NIL evaluation based on On3's like whatever version of like who they signed in the class of 26. And I wouldn't necessarily believe everything on On3, right? Doesn't mean anything. The Indiana guys are being taken care of. I can promise you that. NIL is definitely not an issue for the Hoosiers, but I think what it does say is that a lot of the kids choosing Indiana are choosing it for football reasons and not just monetary reasons, which, again, green flag.
Yeah, I think one thing we started to notice with how they're approaching it, like you were saying, these freshmen, these rising juniors, seniors at the high school level coming in, and it's not really about what's my bag going to look like? Like, obviously, Cignetti is not mess around with that. Like if that's your mindset about how you're approaching the next level, you're just not the fit that Cincinnati is looking for, period.
Well,
So I
because you're
think
gonna like that's gonna
it's
be a byproduct.
Indiana, and you saw the tweet from the NIL agent last week that mentioned the fact how Indiana's very athlete friendly, very easy to negotiate with, all great stuff. Best athletic department. Well, he's called them one of the best athletic departments in the country, period. And to keep seeing those things, you got to think that Indiana is looking to become the gold standard of what NIL allocation looks like when it comes to roster construction. You're bringing in freshmen, you're developing them. Obviously, there's maybe some small money that goes with that, a stipend type level NIL package for them, a standard. You're a freshman, you're a sophomore, that type of stuff. I think that's how Indiana's doing it. Shout out Kelly School of Business. And then using the real, the big money to retain the star players, keep Surratt, keep Cooper, bring back Kamara, bring back Pons, bring back Aiden Fisher, keep all your star players, the guys that have earned it, and you allocate the money that way and then use the rest to bring star players from the portal in. And I think that's what they've been able to do at a very high level. And I think, economies of scale, things, always balance out in the long run. I've never been too worried about NIL getting out of hand. I always thought it would work itself out. Teams are going to overspend and it's going to fail, and they're going to have to take a step back and reevaluate how they're allocating NIL. And these things are just going to happen, and it's just going to work itself out. It just will. Obviously, there's going to be regulations in place down the line, but I see it really already kind of working itself out. I don't really see, obviously the number one freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood got like 2 mil, 10 mil, whatever the reports are. I don't know if that's going to last super long. We just saw what happened with Nico. I think that's a very clear sign that things are starting to change when it comes to how you allocate NIL for the future. So, yeah, glad Indiana is ahead of the curve when it comes to that stuff.
Full blown agree.